森林里的早晨，空气中飘着薄雾，阳光从叶缝间洒落。今天是1年1度的探索日，每年的这一天，大家会分组参加一场任务，根据线索地图前往森林深处，寻找猫头鹰爷爷藏起来的小宝盒。米米站在公告板前，细细阅读刚贴上的分组名单。小红、狐狸和小灰狼，他轻声念出那一组的名字，目光落在卡片下方，自己的名字被标注为协助者。远处，小红狐狸站得笔直，双手抱胸，小灰狼则蹲坐在地上，低头沉思。他们的目光没有交汇，却彼此感受到一股微妙的距离。我不喜欢复杂的方法，还是直接一点比较快。小灰狼语气平平，却听得出拒绝。没，有人叫你配合我。小红狐狸微微挑眉，我可以完成自己的部分就好。米米走向两人，将一张折得平整的线索图递给他们。这次的地图只有一半，另一半藏在森林的某个地方，必须一起合作才能完成。他语气温和地说，为什么非得一起？小灰狼皱起眉头，我一个人也找得到。小红狐狸没有回应，只是将地图收进口袋。米米微笑点头，说，我会在你们身后，不太远也不太近。旅程开始了。地图的起点是一座覆满野草的小丘，丘顶立着一根倾斜的木牌，指向森林的东南方。小红狐狸走得很快，没走几步就停下来翻看地图。小灰狼则径自往前走，不加理会。你能不能慢一点？我们不是要一起看地图吗？你太慢了，我才刚抬头你就还没动。狐狸头也不回地说完，脚步更快。米米走在他们身后，默默地在笔记本上记下一行字。2个步调不同的伙伴正走在同一条路上。午后，他们来到一条小溪，对岸的大树上绑着红色布条，那是下一个线索点。跳过去吧。小灰狼站定，蓄势待发。等等，我们可以找找看有没有绕过去的路。狐狸话未说完，脚下一滑，跌入水中。啊！小灰狼立刻蹲下身，伸出手臂，神情严肃。狐狸微微一愣，然后拉住他的手，被拉上岸。我不是要批评你，小灰狼低声说，只是我不知道怎么说的好听一点。小红狐狸望着他，没有立刻说话，只是从背包拿出一条毛巾擦前身体。之后的路程，他们沉默而前行。在一棵老树下，他们找到了另一半的地图，夹着一张由爷爷手写的字条。字条上写着，有些地图只有在2双眼睛一起看的时候才能变得完整。小红狐狸轻声说，如果你不介意，我们可以轮流说出路线，我帮你记下来。好啊，小灰狼嘴角微扬，语气少了戒备。傍晚，他们回到集合点，米米已经坐在一旁，看着他们一前一后走来，步伐不一，但方向一致。天色逐渐转暗，林间的风也变得凉了些。他们依照新合成的地图继续往前走。这一段的森林路径明显比较崎岖，杂草丛生的小径中藏着不少湿滑的石头和爬行的藤蔓。走着走着，小红狐狸突然停下脚步，指着不远处的一块石板低声说，这个形状和刚才地图上的符号很像。他们蹲下来，拨开落叶，发现底下藏着一个木盒。盒子并不大，封口用藤条绕了2圈，应该就是这个。小灰狼说。小红狐狸想打开它，却发现藤条绑得很紧。他试图解开，但没成功。小灰狼接过盒子，也试了一下，但力道过猛，盒子差点整个裂开。米米轻轻接过盒子，从背包中取出一小段温水湿布，沿着藤节轻柔擦拭。有时候不是用力，而是用时间和细心。他说，终于 藤结慢慢松开了，盒子里头并没有想象中的宝藏金币或甜点，只有一块薄木板，刻住一行字：愿你在分歧中找到共走的节奏。小红狐狸和小灰狼对看了一眼，都没有说话。我们是不是一开始就用错了方式？小红狐狸说。小灰狼点点头，然后低声说：我常常讲得太快，别人还没反应，我就已经生气了。我也是。小红狐狸低声笑笑，我太怕被别人嫌弃，所以常常抢先表现自己，但也可能让人不舒服。他们没有马上起身，只是在森林里坐了一会儿。米米坐在他们身后，静静地望着这一幕。阳光从枝叶缝隙间落下，像洒进2颗渐渐靠近的心。回程的路上，他们一起走，一起谈，没有谁先谁后。小灰狼问了小红狐狸一句：如果有下一次合作，你还会想跟我一组吗？小红狐狸眨眨眼，笑着说：要看你孩儿会不会急着跳河了。小灰狼也笑了起来，那笑容不像往常那样急促，而是温柔的、稳稳地停在脸上。当他们回到集合点，猫头鹰爷爷正在整理最后的记录。任务完成了？爷爷问。完成了，他们异口同声回答。那盒子里的字你们看懂了吗？爷爷眨了眨眼。看懂了。小红狐狸点头。而且走了一趟，也更知道自己。米米走上前，把今天写下的一句话递给爷爷。爷爷念出声来。有些伙伴起初像是背对背的影子，但当他们一起迎着光走，就会看见彼此的轮廓。Morning in the forest arrived with a light mist in the air and sunlight filtering through the leaves. Today was the annual day of exploration. Each year on this day, everyone would split into teams and embark on a mission to follow a map of clues deep into the forest to find the little treasure box hidden by Grandpa Owl. Mimi stood in front of the bulletin board, carefully reading the newly posted team list. Little Red Fox and Little Gray Wolf, he murmured, reading out the names on the list. His eyes drifted to the bottom of the card. His own name was marked as support. In the distance, Little Red Fox stood tall with her arms crossed. Little Gray Wolf crouched on the ground, head lowered in thought. Their eyes never met, but an unmistakable tension passed between them. I don't like complicated methods. It's faster to just go straight, Little Gray Wolf said flatly, yet the resistance in his voice was clear. No one asked you to match my pace. Little Red Fox raised an eyebrow. I can handle my part on my own. Mimi walked over and handed them a neatly folded clue map. This map only shows half of the route. The other half is hidden somewhere in the forest. You'll have to work together to complete it, he said gently. Why does it have to be together? Little Gray Wolf frowned. I can find it myself. Little Red Fox didn't respond. She simply tucked the map into her pocket. Mimi smiled and nodded. It'll be behind you, not too close, and not too far. The journey began. The starting point on the map was a hill overgrown with wild grass. At its peak stood a tilted wooden sign pointing southeast into the forest. Little Red Fox walked quickly, pausing every few steps to check the map. Little Gray Wolf, meanwhile, strode forward on his own, paying her no attention. Can you slow down a bit? Aren't we supposed to read the map together? Your eat is slow. I barely looked up and you were still standing there, Red Fox said without turning her head and quickened her pace. Mimi followed behind them, quietly jotting a note into his notebook, two partners walking the same path, each with their own rhythm. By afternoon, they reached a stream. Across the water, a red ribbon was tied to a tall tree. That was the next clue. Let's just jump over, Little Gray Wolf said, bracing himself at the edge. Wait, maybe we can find a path around before Red Fox could finish. Her foot slipped and she fell into the water. Ah. Little Gray Wolf quickly crouched down and reached out his arm, a serious look on his face. Red Fox blinked, then took his hand. He pulled her out of the stream. "I'm not trying to criticize you," Little Gray Wolf said quietly. "I just don't know how to say things nicely." Red Fox didn't respond right away. Instead, she pulled a towel from her bag and began drying off in silence. The rest of the journey was quiet. They walked on in silence. Beneath an old tree, they found the second half of the map. Tucked alongside it was a note written by Grandpa Owl. The note read, "Some maps only become clear when seen through the sets of eyes." Softly, Little Red Fox said, "If you don't mind, we could take turns reading the route out loud. It'll help write it down." "Sure," Little Gray Wolf said with a small smile. His tone was no longer guarded. Their steps were out of sync, but their direction was the same. The sky was darkening, and the breeze in the forest had turned cool. They followed the newly combined map and continued onward. The path ahead grew noticeably rougher. Overgrown trails were littered with slippery stones and crawling vines. As they walked, Little Red Fox suddenly stopped and pointed to a stone slab up ahead. "That shape. It looks just like the symbol on the map." They knelt down and brushed aside falling leaves, revealing a wooden box hidden beneath. It was large, and it was wrapped with 2 loops of vine. "This must be it," said Little Gray Wolf. Little Red Fox tried to open it, but the vines were tightly wound. She struggled to untie them, but couldn't. Little Gray Wolf took the box and gave it a try but pulled too hard, nearly cracking it open. Mimi gently stepped forward and took the box. From his backpack he pulled out a piece of cloth dampened with warm water and softly wiped along the knots. "Sometimes it's not about force but about time and care," he said. At last, the vines slowly loosened. Inside the box, there were no golden coins or sweet treats, just a thin, wooden plaque engraved with a single line. "May you find a shared rhythm, even in your differences." Little Red Fox and Little Gray Wolf exchanged a glance. Neither said a word. "Did we maybe start this the wrong way?" Red Fox asked softly. Little Gray Wolf gave a small nod. "I always speak too fast before others can even react. I'm already upset." "Me too," Red Fox said with a quiet laugh. "I'm so afraid of being disliked that I always try to prove myself first. But maybe that just pushes others away." They didn't stand up right away. They just sat there for a while among the trees. Mimi sat quietly behind them, watching. Sunlight filtered down through the branches like it was gently illuminating 2 hearts, slowly drawing closer. On the walk back, they moved together, side by side, talking. Neither lead and neither followed. "If there's a next time we're partnered up, would you still want to team up with me?" Little Gray Wolf asked. Red Fox blinked, then smiled. "Depends. Are you going to jump into the river again?" Little Gray Wolf laughed too, and this time it wasn't rushed. It stayed on his face, warm and steady. When they returned to the meeting point, Grandpa Owl was finishing up the day's records. "Mission complete?" Grandpa Owl asked. "Complete," they answered in unison. "Did you understand the words inside the box?" he asked with a wink. "We did," Red Fox nodded. "After that walk, I think we understand ourselves a little better too." Mimi stepped forward and handed Grandpa Owl a note he had written from the day's observations. Grandpa Owl read it aloud. "Some partners begin like shadows standing back to back, but when they walk toward the light together, they start to see each other's shape.